Welcome to the only Danish podcast about pro wrestling. Today we're going to take a trip down to a country that's well known from football and food, but today we're going in a totally different direction. We're going to talk about Italian elegance in the world of pro wrestling. So, Fabio Ferrari, welcome.
Thank you, Nikolai. It's a great pleasure to be here. And as you said, we're talking about Italy and wrestling in Italy. And I'm sure you didn't get it, but that's bad for you that you don't get Italian. You should learn it.
Yeah, probably, but I'm quite an old guy now. I'm over 50 years old, Fabio. So I think that type of learning is long gone for me. So
let's keep it in English. It's all
okay.
fine.
Oh, thank you. So, Fabio, I have this catchphrase that I use every time I'm doing an interview with a wrestler. So, Fabio Ferrari, every wrestler has a story to tell. Are you ready to tell yours?
I'm ready.
You freeze just a little bit, Fabio.
For what?
Oh, you just freeze. I just used my famous catchphrase and then it was just a still picture of you.
Well, I said I'm ready if you want to go.
Okay, perfect. I didn't hear that.
Oh, you didn't hear that? No. It probably was the connection. So because
Yeah.
I gave an answer.
It's starting off quite well. Okay, so Fabio, take us all the way back to the little kid, Fabio Ferrari. How did he discover pro wrestling?
Well, I remember vividly the first time I watched wrestling because it was like love at first sight for me. I was 6 years old. It was the summer of 1990 because I'm 41 now, so it's been a while. And I was watching TV and I ended up on the channel, and the match was Hogan versus Earthquake from SummerSlam. And I was like completely shocked about the wrestling, about the physiques, about the looks, about the lights, about everything. As I said, it was love at first sight. And from there, it was just, I became passionate. I was such a huge fan of wrestling. I watched all the Nitro era on TNT because back then it wasn't like today that everything is so easy to watch. I had the satellite because Italy, we had no wrestling at all on TV, I mean. And so I was watching Nitro on TNT live. So I was waking up in the night, watching it, and then the next day going to school and stuff. So I was a huge fan.
What did your parents actually say about you being up at night watching wrestling?
Well, sometimes it was like my father was like, yeah, that bullshit, typical Italian phrase from these guys that think that just their passion is something because he's cycling, he was doing competition and stuff and he was looking at wrestling like, oh, that bullshit. And I was like, fuck off. I don't care. Like I was watching it because I loved it. So my mother just didn't care. But honestly, they brought me in 94. They brought me to Milano to watch the WWE live. And I was so happy because the main event there was Bret Hart versus Owen Hart. It was a shitty show because in 94, Italy was done for wrestling. So it was an empty arena and everything, but I was so happy. I was 10 years old.
Oh, that's actually because even though your parents or your father did go in a total direction, taking it from there, watching WWE live, how did you come from that point to start training as a wrestler?
Well, honestly, I never saw a career in wrestling because it was too far away for me. Like back then, well, first, Italy has no history about wrestling. So we had no schools, no wrestling, no trainers, no nothing. no shows. The only shows were WWE, but WWE was coming over just when it was big on TV. So at the beginning of the 90s, and then back again in 2004, 2005. So that's, and we never had wrestling in between. So not even WWE. And sometimes we never had WWE, not even on TV. So it was so bad. So for me, it was a passion. I loved it till that, but I was trying to become a basketball player. That's what I loved. That's what I liked, but I sucked. So yeah, that it is what it is. I love basketball. I was a huge fan back then. I'm still am, but I wasn't too bad. You know, to me was either I play in the top series in the big league or I'm done. So we have here the A series. I was playing in the C series. So to me, it was like, okay, I'm done. And at some point, I was 17 and a friend who was a wrestling fan as well, he told me, "Oh, do you know there's a bunch of guys trying to build something about wrestling and they're just training and stuff." And I said, "Oh, let's go see, let's go check them out and see what happens." And it started from there as a game. We were playing, we were, as we say, backyarders. We were really well because we had no trainers, we had no wrestling rings, we had no basics, no fundamentals, nothing.
So where did you actually train? Because if you didn't have anything, was it just in a gym hall or
Yeah.
anything like that?
Yeah, it was one of those gyms where they do like judo and, martial arts and stuff like that. So mats on the floor, the tatami, as we call it, and some big mats where you can land and you can try the moves. But we knew nothing. So we were just watching TV and trying the moves, practicing the moves. That was everything. And then from there, we started to do some shows because we put money all together. We bought a ring from the US. It was such a different world from today. Yeah, even internet wise, because everything was so difficult. It wasn't like today that you go everywhere on social media and stuff and you can find where everything in a minute. So we had that ring and we started doing shows and something crazy happened. It was 2004 and suddenly WWE became huge in Italy. Huge. Like everywhere. You saw back then wrestling was everywhere. And we were lucky that my group of guys, we were the first one. That was ICW, Italian Championship Wrestling. That was the company that basically built the modern era of wrestling in Italy. So wrestling was everywhere. On TV was big. And we were the only ones in Italy doing wrestling. And so from there, we weren't ready for it. But we started doing shows with thousands of people. Like 2005, I was 20 years old. I was green as grass and skinny bitch. Like, so bad, so bad. But I had a show in front of 11,000 people. And that was an indie show that we had no WWE guys there.
Okay, could you tell me a little bit about that show? Because I saw on your Instagram profile over 11,000 people in 2005. That sounds crazy in my ears.
It is. That was crazy for me as well back then because I was 20 years old, thrown into a world that I didn't know with professional wrestlers that were real professionals because the main event was AJ Styles against PT Williams. AJ back then was the NWA champion. And the rest of the card, I was the only Italian, and the rest of the card were all top level wrestlers like Michael Kovac, Nard Van Dam, PN News, Cannibal Grizzly, Chris the Bambi Killer, all these guys that I was looking up to. And to me, it was like crazy. I'm in the same show as these guys. And again, In this period of time, 2004, 2005, and also 2006, I was so lucky that I could do shows with even former WWE guys. Like I had a match in 2005 against Jamie Noble. And that's a funny story. That's a funny story because obviously, when he arrived in Italy, he didn't know who I was. Obviously, nobody knew. Again, I was super green, no experience, not even training experience. That's crazy. I had some seminars, but that was it. Some matches, but it is what it is. And they booked me against him. But all these guys wanted to do matches between themselves. And now, well, I understand that. I get it. And so when he arrived at the arena, the booker and me, we went to greet Jamie Noble. And the booker said, "Oh, he's Fabio. He's the guy that we would like to have the match you against." And he looked at me, not even shook hands, nothing, and looked at me and said, "If you do something wrong, I'll close it down straight away." And he left. But he was like, oh, and I was 20 years old. I was like, so after that, I took a little while to understand what happened. And then I went to Jamie Noble and said, well, I know you would love to do a match with Johnny Storm. It's totally fine to me. I get it because I'm green as grass. So no worries. And he was probably, he just wanted to test me, something like that. And he just said, well, no worries, kid. Let's have the match and let's have fun. And it was a crazy match. Like I was the shit and he brought my level to complete another level. I'll probably put the match online sometimes on YouTube because it's back then really I was the shits. But I was lucky that I was coming from basketball. I was kind of natural in some movement in the wrestling. I was very athletic and back then, so it worked. So it helped me a lot. Let's put it this way.
So, how did that match with Jamie Noble elevate you further going forward from that? Because that must be a career high in that period for you.
Well, it was, but honestly, the next 10 years from there, I just lost time. Because again, after this period of time where wrestling was so huge in Italy, like my face was on the diary, school diary, I was on national TV, all that crazy stuff that for a 20 years old was like, what the fuck is happening here? After the Chris Benoit thing, everything completely disappeared in Italy. So 2007, no more wrestling. All of a sudden, like it became huge, it just disappeared. And so we kept going, we kept doing shows. And I was already booked, lucky for me, outside of Italy. So I was doing experience. I was doing a lot of seminars, but still I was losing time. I spent 10, honestly, 10 years that I should have left Italy, go to the US and try something. But you know, I was 20 years old. I had another mentality back then. So it is what it is. But yeah, on your question, it helped. Like all those experiences helped. But I was so green back then that I couldn't really enjoy the match because it was too early. It was a huge experience. For me, it was great. It gives you a great confidence and it helps for sure. But again, it was a bit too early.
So, Fabio, I have this question that's on my mind. Did you regret not going to the US back then?
I do in a way, but I don't in another. What I mean is that now I'm 41. I have a complete different mindset in general, like in life. My lifestyle changed completely. And what I keep saying is if I had this mindset back then, I could have done a lot. Back then, I was 20 years old. I was into, like at 20 years old, I was partying. I was drinking. I was smoking, I was like It was a funny time. I had fun, but I wasn't really 100% into wrestling because, again, as I said, I never truly believed and I never had somebody close to me. And sometimes it helps that pushed for it because sometimes you need a push from somebody that it's on your side, even it's a parent or whatever, or a friend or whatever, that push you and say, you have to do that. You have to go to the US and try it because now it's the right time to do it. But again, it is what it is. It was, again, I'm not blaming anyone. I'm just blaming myself. But again, I'm saying back then my mentality was that, oh, it is what it is, you know? I just at the end, I'm 41 now. I'm 20 plus year in the wrestling, and I loved my career. I traveled all over the world. I've seen so many places. I've met so many people. I've wrestled so many great wrestlers. I learned from so many great wrestlers. And more than that, I got the respect from some professional wrestlers that I consider real professional wrestlers. And to me, now that's the best you can have. Like a wrestler, when you have the respect of the who paved the way for you, that's something.
But Fabio, you said that there was a 10 years cool down of wrestling in Italy. How did pro wrestling got revived from that after that 10 years
It
period?
never happened.
Oh, you should say something else, Fabio. You should say,
Well,
oh,
it is what it is. I need to tell the truth. It never
okay.
happened. Like it happened for me
Yeah.
because after 10 years, what happened was it was 2015 and I was still working for ICW in Italy. And we had a seminar with Marty Jones and Johnny Saint from World of Sport, UK Wrestling, two legends, two great legends. I was watching in the matches and everything, and I was so pumped up for that seminar. And so, long story short, what happened was we did the seminar, and at the end, Marty came over to me and said, well, he called me, said, Fabio, come here. And he said, well, would you like to work in the UK? And I said, well, I would love to. From there, something happened. He gave me the opportunity to, he put in a good word to Brian Dixon, which was sadly passed away a few years ago. Brian Dixon was the longest running and probably the best promoter out of Europe, UK and Europe. And the All-Star Wrestling was really, really something back then. So many shows and the level of talent in those shows was crazy. So what happened was I learned from Marty in the seminar. I got harder training with Marty Jones. And then I started working for Brian Dixon and I started working at the camps. The camps are probably one of the best experience you can have in the whole world. Brian Dennison was talking about it. Like he said, I remember watching an interview with Brian Danielson, and he said, if Brian Dixon would have paid me a little bit more, I would have stayed all my career at the camps. But again, so what happened was I went to the UK. Marty got me drunk the first night, really bad drunk. And the next day, I was so fucked up, but I started working for Brian Dixon. Eventually, during the day, I found a way to get back to normality. And I started the week. And the first week I did in the UK, I did 2 or 3 weeks that first tour. But the first week of wrestling, I learned more in 7 days than in the previous 12 years. It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. Like so many stuff in my head goes, oh, okay, I got it. Yeah, I got it. Like I had so much information in my head back then, but I couldn't put them together. That first week, I wrestled James Mason, which is one of the best, absolutely one of the best. And I was so lucky to have him guiding me. He was an amazing mentor. So the thing in the UK in the camps during the summer is you wrestle like even sometimes even 2 times, 3 times a day. So you do a show at 11 a.m., you have the feedback from James Mason, and then at 3 p.m., you have another show. So you can put the feedback straight into practice. So it was an amazing experience. And this is what changed everything for me.
Nice. Going on from there, because I think we should go all the way up to the present, but evolving as a wrestler, Fabio, from a standstill period of 10 years or so, and going on from there, getting back your motivation and so on. So how did you become Fabio Ferrari?
That's a funny story as well, because it's like when I started wrestling, well, I was a fan and I had nobody telling me do this, do that, explaining the backstage etiquette, explaining what you have to do with the crowd, what's better, nobody. So I was just a fan, putting my fan into wrestling. So I was Red Devil, which means nothing. Like Red Devil, yeah. What the fuck? Nobody cares. Like I
But
was painting my.
what is it about red in Italy? Because you have Red Scorpio, you had Red Devil, you have.
Well, I don't know why Red Scorpion, but I was the first red one. So they all came after me. So I don't care. They can
So
do it.
they are just a bad copy of.
Yeah, probably yes.
Okay, okay.
Yes. But so I was Red Devil. And then at some point, I was in a tour at the Caribbeans. And it was me, Heimo from Finland, and Kodiak from Holland. And we had such a great time. It's one of my best tour because, you're in the Caribbean. Fuck, that's crazy. Crazy
Yes.
wrestling at the Caribbeans, and during the day we were going to the beach and having a good time. And these guys opened my mind and said something that makes sense. Your real name is Fabio Ferrari? You kidding me? You have to use it. That's great. And to me, it was like, why? To me, it's just a name. It's my name. It's my name since I was born. To me, it's normal. But to them, well, so to the outside world of Italy, which I didn't get it at the time, it was something because Ferrari is really Italian, and it was so easy. I always had it there, but for like 15 years, I never used it. That's crazy. But I'm happy that it happened that way, because if I used the Fabio Ferrari and tried to do the gimmick back then, I didn't have the experience to do something.
Okay,
So this is how it was born. Probably the first one telling me that thing was Bernard Van Damme ages ago, but I was too stupid to get it. So it is what it is.
So going on from wrestling in the Caribbean, and how did the Italian wrestling scene scene evolve from there on? Because now we're standing here today and we talked a little bit about the Italian wrestling scene at the latest Nordic Elite Wrestling show. Could you take us from back then until now, how the Italian wrestling scene become what it is today?
So it evolved for sure. We have wrestling in Italy from 25 years now. But we have so many companies for such a small country. And what's missing, it's the know-how on how to bring people to the show. Like the thing is, usually who's running companies in Italy, they're either wrestlers or fans. So we will need somebody that come from a complete different experience. So coming from organizing events, knowing how to do it, how to bring the people to the show, how to, make money out of it. So we don't really have any big company. We have a couple of companies which are doing really well, like Milano Wrestling, and they're based in Milan, obviously. They're doing nice shows. They're selling out every show. It's like 700 people every time. So it's really good. They have such a nice production and everything. They have good storylines, and even the wrestlers, even the guys from that school, they're growing up. And then we have SIW in Tuscany, and they also build something. They're doing like next week a big show in Firenze in a theater, and they usually sell out. It's usually sell out. I think it's sold out already, and it's like again 800-900 something like that people. And they have a great production, online stuff, great stuff. And also these guys are growing a lot. So we have a few companies doing really well, but what I don't see is Italians going outside, getting booked outside. Like we have one guy that nobody talk about, which is Francesco Akira. And this is a super young guy. I don't know how old is he now, but he's probably 24, 25, something like that. And he has a contract with New Japan. He's part of the United Empire. You know, he's being in Japan and is doing really well in Japan from years now. But again, we don't have anybody except a few that are really a name outside and getting booked outside. So I think there's still Italian wrestling still need to grow.
So if I understand it right, there's a lot of work to do yet
Yeah,
to build
absolutely.
the Italian wrestling scene. But Fabio, I know we're talking about you and I'm interviewing you, but if you should point out some of the great talents in the Italian wrestling scene as of now, who should you?
For sure, Renzo Rose is one of the names I will go straight to, because he was. I used to have a school when I was living in Torino, which is the city where Clash is WWE Premium Live Events is supposed to come in May. I used to live there, and I used to have a school. I had a school there for 10 years. And Renzo Rose, he started there, and he was my student. And then when I moved, he moved as well, and he went to Highland. And he became a name for OTT. And I know he's on the WWE radar and stuff like that. And he's really good. He has the mentality, he has the age, the right age. He's working out at the gym. He has a good body. He evolved even body wise, because you have to. It's like, I don't know. I'm a little bit maybe old school, but I think, well, it's not being old school. I think that in the wrestling, like every sport, you need to look good. You need to look athletic. You can't get in the ring if you look like shit. Like you have to put the work in 360, like in the ring, in the gym, and in the diet, in everything you need to do to look 100% when you're in the ring and look like, okay, that's a wrestler. And Renzo is doing that. So it's the very first name I would say in Italian wrestling that comes to my mind.
Okay. Do you have anyone other than Renzo?
Well, there's many good wrestlers. There's so many. I will
Okay.
need to do like a list.
Okay. Probably
But
let's
he's the one that stands
stands out.
out.
Ah,
So
okay.
that's what I wanted to say. Like he stands out from the others. Like there's a group, they're all together, and I will go like with a list. But he is the one that stands out.
Okay. Well, let's get back to Fabio Ferrari. So, coming from building up your name as a wrestler in Italy and traveling abroad, how did you get, before we're going to talk a lot about Denmark and so on, how did you get booked outside of Italy? Because as you were talking about earlier in this interview, you said a lot of Italian wrestlers don't get booked abroad. So was it the UK connection that helped you?
Well, first thing first, I think and I believe that to get booked outside of your own company, you need to add the value. You need to bring something to the company that you're working for. So that's the first rule, because if you organize a show, you have your own roster, you bring somebody from outside, it costs you money, but this guy need to bring a value, need to bring something different from what you already have. That's why a lot of guys nowadays travel at their own expenses. They pay their own flight. They wrestle for a sandwich and they're so happy about it, which I get it because this is, it's not the word wrestling word I was brought in. It was a complete different world. Like back then, nobody was paying to get booked. Like back then, it looks like I'm talking about 100 years ago.
No,
No, yeah,
we're
because it's
actually
changed.
we're from the same age, Fabio. So I understand you. You don't need to explain that.
Yeah, but I want to explain it to somebody that's watching us so they
Yeah, of
know that
course.
it's not so long ago, but it was so different. Back then, there wasn't that many. I'm talking about the beginning of 2000, 2005, 2006, and from so on. Even in Europe, there weren't so many companies like they are today. There weren't so many wrestlers. So all the guys that was working outside of Italy, they were paid. I I pride myself that I never paid for my flying tickets. I never wrestled for free. And it's something in today's wrestling because everybody's paying for their own shit, which doesn't make any sense to me after 15 years you're in the business. Like if you just start, if you're 2 years, 3 years in the business, well, it makes sense because this is how it works nowadays. But if after 15 years that you're wrestling, you can't get booked and you can have the value because that's the thing and you need to pay your own thing, just change, just do something else. There's so many stuff you can do in the world. Just don't do wrestling anymore. Take a little pride, take a little, like a little love for yourself, because if you're not good enough, just change, just do it where you can do it. Like that's my philosophy. I always watch it that way because I was booked. So going to your question, I think first you need to have the value, and then you need to know how to, well, in general, and that's, I go a little bit into the wrestling psychology, but you need to connect with the crowd. Basically, that's the main thing. It's so easy. It's so difficult, pro wrestling, but in a way, but it's so easy on the other way if you get the priorities.
Yeah. But Fabio, let's continue a little bit down that road about wrestling psychology. How do you use that when connecting with the crowd? Because as you can see in the world of wrestling today, how important it is to connect with the crowd as a wrestler.
Well, I think that's the main thing a professional wrestler need to have. You need to connect with the crowd. Either you're a babyface or you're a heel, because in the end, it's not about the moves. It's about let the people feel an emotion. The moves are just the tool to get there, but you need to. And honestly, that's the art form, because yes, the moves are great and everything, but nowadays I see a lot of guys just thinking about putting their shit in. They want to do the moves. They want, yeah, I want to do this spot. I do this, then nobody cares. Like, yeah, the move gives you the clap, but when you really understand how to read the crowd and how to understand in which environment you are, because every crowd is different. I've seen so many different crowds, and this is what I learned the most in the UK. Like we were the camps. I'm going back to the camps for an example. The camps are the perfect place to learn how to work the crowd, because you need to understand what the holiday camp is. Holiday camps are places where family goes and they don't fucking care about wrestling. It's just part of the entertainment package you have there. They see Teletubbies and then they see the wrestling. That's the thing. Yeah, it is. It is. It really is. So they don't know what to do because it's fucking raining in the UK. So they stay inside and they watch wrestling, and usually they don't care. Sometimes it's a great crowd. So what happened is You have a show at 11 in the morning and you have a great crowd. Everything you do works and you go like, yeah, it worked. And then 3 p.m., just a few hours, you move 15 kilometers, 20 kilometers from there. You go to the next town, to the next camp, and the crowd don't care. They don't react to anything you do. So what happens? Either you close and you stop doing everything and you just do your moves, or you find way to get them involved. And this is where your mind starts to really work. And this is where I learned the main thing about wrestling psychology, because then psychology is so difficult. You have so many stuff because the hard form of wrestling is telling a story through the voice, the facial expression, the moves, everything we do. So they used to say some wrestlers never waste a movement. And this is how you build the story and you get the crowd involved, because everything means something. So that's the main rule I got from Marty Jones. Let be different, be different, and let everything you do in the ring mean something. Either it's how you get in the ring, how you interact with the ref, how you interact with the crowd, how you interact with your opponent, and you have so much to do, so much to do. And it's not easy. It takes years. I'm still learning now. Every match I do, I still learn something because I love it. It's great. It's a great form of art.
So, talking about crowd psychology, Fabio, which crowd was the most difficult one for you to work with, or to get and react, or to get?
Well, I think I got the worst crowd in the UK. Again, at the camps. Yeah, vividly remember one time we were at the shitty camp, probably in Wales, and I remember that there were like, I don't know, maybe 100 people, and they were like, everything I was healed, and everything I tried was like nobody cared. Yeah, like it was so tough. It was so tough. Other than that, I usually love every crowd because every crowd is different, but in a good way. Because again, the thing is the nature of the show. Like if you do a show, like I'm running shows in Italy and I'm doing shows in holiday town where people go by because they go to buy a ice cream and they see a ring and they stop and they watch wrestling. So it's kind of like the camps. They don't really care.
Hmm.
But it's our work to get them in, to get them involved. So that's the most difficult crowd ever. But when you work in a company where they sell tickets, the crowd usually it's pretty good.
Hmm.
Usually it's pretty good because they pay the ticket. They already know what to expect. But what I can say is one of the best, if not the best crowd, might be in them.
We'll come to that in a little bit,
Okay,
Fabio.
okay. I
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah. I
wanted to
know you're
give you.
eager to talk about it. I know you're eager. But one thing, Fabio, is ring psychology. Another thing that you said was about moves and getting your moves in. So how did you build up your moveset so it works together, like you're using ring psychology, working with your moveset as a wrestler?
Well, first, when you're in the training, when you're still training, that's what I keep saying to everybody when I do seminars or when I used to have my school. And you need to understand what you can do. Like I always loved to do the shooting star press, but I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. I was too scared to do it, and I never tried it. So do what you can do, what your body can do, what it makes sense for you. If you're 150 and you're 40 kilos, you can pick people up. Yeah, you can't. You can't. You're just too small. It's just what we have to do is be incredible. If we're doing bullshit in that ring, the people will get it, will know it, and there's no way we can build something. We want people to leave the show and say, wow, these guys really know. They're really athletes. They punched each other. I could feel all the strikings. It was great. But you have to be credible to put that information in the head of the crowd, especially the ones that are not wrestling fans, and you want them to become fans, right? So that's the first rule. Second rule is it depends what you're doing. Like, for example, I can do a lot of high flying shit. But when I'm a heel, it just doesn't make any sense. I don't need to put myself over. You need to understand your job. And my job as a heel is not what many heels does nowadays, that they want to do the cool heels because they want to sell merch. I don't fucking care. If I'm a heel, I need to put over the baby face and I need to do my job 200%. I want people to hate me. Last week in Austria, they were throwing glasses at me, plastic glasses, right? But they were throwing stuff, and I loved it because that gives me the perception that I'm doing something right. And I didn't sell any merch, any T-shirt. I got new T-shirts. I didn't sell anyone. But in a way, I was happy about it because it means I've done my job. So the move set go in that direction. Like I use the lion salt because it's a good move, but I use it in a way that I can put over the baby face, right? I'm not using it to put myself over. That's wrestling psychology. That's just understanding as a base what's your job. And this is what so many guys don't get it.
So actually, if we could summon it a little bit up, ring psychology and moveset goes hand in hand, depending if you're a babyface or a heel.
Absolutely. And it depends on which company you're working for. Like there's companies where there's a different type of crowd. Like it depends on the crowd. Like if you're working for a company that it's a super, they're all marks, they're all big, smart fans, you need to give a little bit more, right? Because that's the type of crowd that wants you to give a little bit more, even spot and moves wise. But if you have a generic crowd, you have to get them involved. So you need to give that. And that's what I love the most. Give a little bit of everything, a little bit of character, a little bit of, well, the crowd interaction and everything, moves, a little bit of spots, but not too much. And a story and a good storytelling that makes sense, build to something that can put over the baby face in the best way I can do it. That's when I do the heel. When I do the baby face, again, I do a lot more high flying stuff because I also like to do it. So I do a lot of ranas. I do the Spanish fly, stuff like that I don't do when I'm a heel. I'm still having fun. My wife, Monica, keep telling me, stop doing that shit. You're going to get hurt bad. You're 41. You're old. You can't do this anymore. But I don't get it. I don't care. I keep going.
You should actually tell Monica that you never get old in wrestling and use Sting as an example. He's over 60.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So you could probably tell her, Fabio, that you have 20 years left in pro wrestling.
Yeah, man. Well, I just tell her, it's no worries.
Okay.
I do what I want anyway.
Well, Fabio, if we should sum this up, do you like more being a face or a heel?
Well, I started my career as a babyface because I could connect with the crowd in that way. Then I switched as a heel. Then now I'm doing both. Like if I take one here, I don't want to say 50-50, but I'm doing a little bit more the heel because I work a lot outside of Italy and I'm always the heel. And I can now, with the experience I have now, I can say that I love to do both because both are a complete different world. And if you do the baby face, you learn stuff that you can't learn when you're a heel, and vice versa. And also, when you work, let's say, as a heel, you understand stuff that you can understand for when you work as a baby face. Like you understand motions and stuff you have to do in the ring working as a heel that it will help you when you're gonna do the baby face. I don't know if you get
Yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean, but it's so both side of the world are I love them. If I have to tell you deep down my heart, I enjoy most doing the heel because
Mm.
it's so much fun. Like
Yeah.
I love the gimmick I have. I love to interact with the crowd in that way and find way to get eat but not being too much. It's so much fun. The baby face is more like you have to do the selling, you have to do the facial expression, you have to connect with the crowd, get them to empathize with you and stuff like that. And you can do a little bit of moves if you like. So again, as I said, like I enjoy when I do. I love the Spanish fly. Like I always loved it, so I love to do it. Boom. But it's also risky. Like again, yeah, both. But if I have to have a choice, give you a choice is heel.
Okay, now, Fabio, we've teased it throughout the interview until now. So we're going to bring our listeners and viewers all the way up to the north to Denmark. So you're becoming more or less a regular at Nordic Elite Wrestling. How did the connection with Nordic Elite Wrestling start?
Well, I don't remember, but I remember that I got booked in that first show at the basement, and when I sorry, I was so and when I got there, I said, "Wow, that's this place is something." I love the grunge place and all that stuff. And I had a match with Sahim, which was the heavyweight champion back then. Well, that's so much fun because again, as I teased it before, probably Danish crowd is by far one of the best in Europe, if not the best, one of the best, because they are. What I like is it's an adult crowd. They drink a lot, which helps. Uh, it is what it is, like it is, and they're really into the show. Like they enjoy the show. They really hot. They're loud. So I loved it straight away, and I always love to be over in Denmark because again the crowd is amazing.
So you battled two wrestlers here in Denmark. You battled Saim and you battled Gabriel Faust.
Yeah.
So how was it coming back to Denmark?
It was even better because, well, first, the last venue was amazing. That place was something. And it was packed. I love the thing that the crowd is all standing super close to the ring and they can feel the action and we can feel them a lot more. Like in Italy, we used to have 2.5 meters, if not 3, from the barricade, and then you have the chairs, and the crowd is there sitting, right? In Denmark, they're standing. So probably being standing give them even more. They're more into the show. Super close to the ring. It's a great. There's so many places that are like that again because you can really feel the crowd, and so I really love to work for Denmark. And all you guys are great guys, so it's so much fun every time.
Thank you so
And I
much.
love to be hated.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Even
yeah.
though at the
You just
last
said that.
show there was this guy dancing on my music, but
Yeah,
that makes sense.
yeah. There was
It's part
actually
of
one
the
guy that
gimmick.
liked you, Fabio.
Sorry, what?
There was actually one guy, or maybe a little bit more, that liked you.
Well, yeah, it happens because it's 2026. You never know how the crowd react. Some guys love to they love heels. So I'm trying to do the heel, but I also have this music which is fun. It's something, everything is studied behind that. But, I want the music to stuck in your head. And I have guys that keep telling me after 1 week after the show, 1 week after the show, they send me a message and they say, "Oh, you bastard. Your fucking team, it's stuck in my head and I can stop singing it."
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's fun in a way.
So now, if you should choose any wrestler from the Nordic Elite roster going up against next, who should it be and why?
I will choose Carlos Zamora because he is the first guy from Denmark that I met in Finland years ago. And I love his style, and I'm sure we could have a banger of a match. But there's many guys that I would love to wrestle. Even Pete Phoenix, he's really good in ring. There's so many guys, so many good guys. But if I have to choose one, I will go with Carlos.
Okay. But you and Pete Phoenix, that would be two major egos clashing.
Yeah, maybe with him will be a tag team, but he is the champion now, right? So
Yeah. But maybe he could use a little bit of Italian elegance.
yeah, why not?
So, so Fabio, going back to your wrestling in Italy and what's happening now, if if we look a little bit into the future, what awaits Fabio Ferrari? Because as you mentioned, your WE is coming to Italy. Do you have anything connections there? Are you doing anything with WWE?
Well, I was lucky enough to work as an extra talent in 2024 and SmackDown in Lyon in France. And back then I was thrown over a table by Randy Orton. And that was a nice experience. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. And I love to be in that and in the biggest company of the world. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I don't have any information at the moment, but I would love to be part of Clash and Raw, mainly because I never worked for WWE in Italy. And even more importantly, their shows are in Torino, and I lived in Torino for 12 years. So it will be like something. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But other than that, we'll see. I have so many shows all over Europe and two new countries coming up. So I will go to 20 because everybody count the countries. I'm 20, 27 countries in the world. So yeah, it is what it is. And I'm looking forward to my show because I'm organizing with Monica in Italy, as I said. And we have a big show coming up on May 24th in Rome. And we have the Bruno Sammartino World Grand Prix already planned for August 15 in his hometown of Pizzoferrato, which is a small town on the mountains. And this year, we're planning to bring a real big name.
Okay. Could
So we'll
you
see.
tell us a little bit about that big name?
Well, it's not confirmed 100% because still we're still in March now, so we have time. We need to work a little bit more on some aspect of the thing, but I can say that the deal is closed. So we're gonna. It's what I can say is she's a former WWE World Champion, 7, 8 times, something like that. So I told
Interesting.
you something already.
Yeah. I'm not going to ask about anything more about that. But
Okay.
Fabio, so I saw that you did a Q&A last night about your favorite wrestler. So I won't go into that. We saw that it was the Ultimate Warrior. So
When I was a kid, yes,
when you
that
was a kid,
he was the guy when I was.
so who is your favorite wrestler now?
Well, I had many favorite wrestlers during the years. When I started wrestling, my favorite was Hayabusa, but I loved the Great Muta. I loved Sting. That's why I had the face paint at the beginning. 94, when I was 10, I was a huge Bret Hart fan. at that show where the main event was Bret versus Owen. I have a picture with the Bret Hart t-shirt, Bret Hart sunglasses, everything on. I was such a huge fan. And then when I started wrestling, I was studying a lot Ric Flair. Nowadays, I'm watching everything. Like, I think that if you're a pro wrestler and you want to improve, you need to watch everything. Like, I watch even matches from the 50s because sometimes there are little gems that you say, wow, that's something that is not used anymore. So it might
Hmm.
work.
Hmm. Interesting, interesting. So Fabio, we've talked a lot about everything, and we could probably talk for hours and hours. But I have this to finish it off, and then you'll get the final words after that. So I have some questions. What is the best wrestling move of all time?
It's the lion soul. Well, I don't know. Honestly, it's such a tough question. There's so
I
many
know.
moves. I can tell you what I love. Like, I love, as I said before, I love to do the Spanish fly
Mm,
because it's such a timing and trust into the other guy move. I also like to do dives outside. I when I'm a babyface, I do the Asai moonsault, and you really need to know how to land because it happened so many times that guys just move. And that's one of the most disrespectful stuff that can happen in wrestling. But you really need to know how to do this. So the best move is the one that you can really do in every situation. That's what I always believed. It can be so many moves, but again, like, why the RKO, the stunner, and all these moves became something? Because you can do it to anybody. And
hmm,
that's why I'm doing the lion salt, because I can do it in any way against anybody because it's all on me.
yeah.
So
Okay.
that's more a wrestler digression, I guess.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yes,
So if you could choose any opponent, dead or alive, who should that be?
it will be probably Rick. I want to say two because
Okay,
there's
okay.
so many. But I would say Ric Flair and Bret Hart.
Interesting. So, Fabio, if you could choose any arena, anywhere in the world, any wrestling company, what would be your ultimate dream?
I go with two again, just because my being a fan for so many years. I will go with the Madison Square Garden because it's the Mecca in the US. And I will go with the Tokyo Dome in the US, in Japan. Like, those are the two arenas. It will be like a dream to have a match.
Okay, now I have another one as well.
Yeah.
WWE, AEW, or New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Well, WWE, absolutely. They're the main company. It's just business. So it's not. I'm not giving you an answer as a fan. I'm giving you an answer as what it really is. And WWE is such a big company. So it's the place and it's the company where every wrestler, whatever they say, but deep down their heart, that's where they want to go.
One last thing before I'll give the microphone to you. Pasta or pizza?
That's
I
a
know,
tough question.
I know.
That's a tough question. I need to taste your pizza because I
Yeah,
see
yeah,
you're doing pizza.
yeah, you're always welcome to come to Denmark with your girlfriend whenever. Just let me know.
I would go with pizza. I love pasta as well, but pizza, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Not with pineapple,
No,
please.
no, that's
Don't
a
tell me you eat
disgrace.
pizza with pineapple or I
No,
won't talk to you anymore.
that's a disgrace. I will never put pineapple on a pizza.
Okay, it is.
Yeah.
It really is.
So, Fabio, thank you so much for coming on to do this interview. But I want to give the microphone to you, and you're welcome to say anything that you would like.
Well, I just want to thank you for having me here. It was a pleasure. It was an honor. And I want to thank everybody who listened to all my bullshit till here because it's been 1 hour already.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for having me. It was a pleasure. And I really hope to be back in Denmark soon because again, I love the country and I love the crowd. I love to being hated by the crowd.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Fabio, you should do a little bit of a shout out for your coming show this May. So where can people buy tickets and so on for that show?
Well, you mean my show or
Yeah,
the
exactly.
show that I have
Yeah, your show.
general?
Your
Well,
show.
my show is we gonna announce it in at the beginning of April, so they can follow. So please, to anybody, you can follow the on Instagram. We have Wrestling FIW, which is Federazione Italiana Wrestling, which means Italian Wrestling Federation. And so this is the my company Instagram page. And if you want to follow me, Ferrari.wrestling, that's my Instagram page. You can see all the traveling I'm gonna do. I will start soon some reels with some stuff both from my trips and with my wrestling trips and from my 20 years experience in it, I would say not bodybuilding in the fitness life and how I changed my body recently
Mm.
because I've always worked out, but the last few years, I'm 41 and I'm in the best shape of my life. So you can follow all that journey and on my social medias. And so May 24 is going to be the first show of hopefully a new era in Italy. So we'll see. We'll see if it works. It's a good moment for wrestling in Italy because from April 1st, WWE is going to Netflix. Then we're going to have WWE coming to the country with 7 dates, something like that. Premium live event. So I don't know. Let's see what happens. Maybe it's the beginning of a new boom in Italy, and I I'm ready to ride the wave and be there with the experience I have now and not like I used to have in 2005 when I wrestled in front of 11,000 people and I can't remember shit about it.
No. But maybe this will be your second coming in the world of pro wrestling.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It can be.
Hopefully.
Let's see how Italy goes in the next few months, but for sure there's a lot to watch and there's a lot that can happen. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Perfect. So thank you so much, Fabio. It was really a pleasure. The pleasure was all mine talking to you, knowing about the Italian wrestling scene, knowing about your coming from this little kid with your father wanting you to do something else and being a basketball player and so on. So, if anyone out there, you should go and follow Fabio. You should go and follow Italian wrestling. So, anyone out there in Italy, you should probably go and watch wrestling live.